Today's video is the first in a short series on the making of this Zebrawood guitar. It has been nicknamed the Zizzy Martian. Welcome to another episode of All Things Woodworking. I'm your host, Aaron. I have left additional information in the description of the video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share if you like what you see. I set up the Guide Pro Plus to do the resawing on the Zebrawood. It's a really great tool and makes resawing easier. I'll be posting my review on it soon. Now that I have two book-matched pieces of wood, I wanted to give it a slight taper. That way the grain will be pointing towards the neck. I use my taper jig to make the cut. The jig is a rectangle that you push through the saw. One end of the wood you want to be flush with the jig. The other end you want hanging over the edge, the amount you want to taper. First, I want to make sure the saw is set to the width of the jig. You want to make sure that the blade is 90 degrees to the table so you get a good glue joint when the cut's finished. Next, you want to make sure the blade is high enough that it'll cut through both boards. Notice the slight taper at the glue joint. Both sides are symmetrical and pointing towards the top of the guitar where the neck will join. Using a sanding beam will get any imperfections created by the table saw out. The goal is to have the two sides come together easily without any imperfections. I use 100% glue coverage on both pieces of wood to make sure the glue joint is strong. Now I start the process for the other pieces that'll make up the back. This particular body will have 4 layers of wood. It'll alternate between Zebrawood and ash all the way through to where you have Zebrawood on the top and ash on the back. The steps are the same for the back. The center two pieces, I left out the tapering. First, I clamp the layers together, making sure the center lines are perfect. Then I cut the head off of a brad and use it as a drill bit. When the glue is added, it tends to make it more difficult to push the nail through. Some taps with a small hammer and it drives the nail right through. You just want to make sure that you're going through the holes that you created. All right, now that the body's all glued up, I'm gonna go ahead and redraw the center line, make sure it's nice and dark, and then line the template center line up with the center line of the body, and go ahead and trace around it. Okay, so now that I've traced around it, I'm gonna go ahead and take it to the bandsaw. And I'm not gonna cut on the line, I'm gonna actually cut away from the line and leave some space there. And then if I have any places that are a little bit too far from the line, I will go ahead and use the spindle sander to bring it closer to the line. And then I will attach this to the top and run it through the router. So the first thing I did is I went ahead and traced back over with a red pencil to make the line a little bit easier for me to see. And now I'm going to go back through and I'm just going to cut away some of this stuff. That way when I'm making these relief lines, it's a lot closer to do on the smaller bandsaw. So the next step is to go ahead and put double back tape in strategic areas around the guitar. Definitely don't want it moving around the neck, but I'll place it around the edge to make it easier to remove when it's done. Then I'll put some down the middle also, just kind of stabilize everything. Then I'll put the template on top, and that way I can use it over on the router table. All right, so now I've got the template attached to the top. It goes face down. The bearing is at the bottom of the bit here. And this first pass is going to actually be cutting the whole depth of this router bit, which is why I wanted to be so close. I need to be really, especially careful on this first pass because I'm going to be cutting the maximum amount. Moving forward, I will not cut that much during each cut. I will go ahead and reduce, the amount that I'm cutting, but with this first pass, there's not a whole lot I can do. So what I'm checking all the way around the guitar is to make sure that the template and the first cut that I made are even. There might have been a place where maybe I pulled it away a little bit and there might be a little bump in the guitar. You don't want that, because what happens is the next step is the bearing is going to start writing on the guitar itself instead of the template, and it would replicate that bump throughout the rest of the cuts. The next video is going to feature routing out the neck pocket and the body cavities. Until next time, thank you, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us on this episode of All Things Woodworking. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share if you like what you've seen.